This is Pastoring in the Digital Parish, your resource and point of connection for building your digital ministry strategy and bringing your congregation into the digital age. I'm Reverend Ryan Dunn. This is it, episode 30 of 30 for National Podcast Post Month. This has been a month-long journey through November of 2023 to produce and release 30 podcast episodes in 30 days, and I made it. We dedicated this time to making episodes which would help you build or readdress a digital ministry strategy for your church. I've definitely learned some things along the way. Putting together the content for this series was extremely useful for me. If you take the big dive and you listen to all the episodes of this season, you'll no doubt hear some recurring themes, and those are the ideas that were really sticking to me as something to put to use in my own practice of digital ministry. For me, I'm learning to stay on mission, to take some balcony time, and I'm going to invest in learning about implementing chatbots. Oh, also, I'm going to look to create a team of digital ministers because really, for the most part, I'm going alone. When I started this NaPodPoMo month, that's redundant. When I started this month, however, I noted there were some things that I wanted to learn about podcasting and community building and post frequency that I thought an experiment like this might help me to learn. Notably, I wanted to know if offering a daily touch point like this would lead towards audience growth in the form of more daily downloads. So, let me share with you what the numbers have taught me about this kind of specific question. The stats for this month are incomplete, of course, because as I'm recording this, the month isn't over yet. But so far, I've seen a 50% growth in unique audience members versus the last season of this podcast. So I'm comparing my November here to actually July of 2023. Unique audience members are members who downloaded one or more episodes of this show during the month. And again, saw a 50% increase in those unique audience members. That's pretty good. I feel pretty good about that. Then comes the big sexy number. Get ready. Because of the sheer number of episodes, I'm looking at 285% increase in total weekly downloads versus the largest week in the last season. So this is actually mid-November versus mid-July of 2023. Here's what I'm inferring through that. Through the NaPodPoMo posting, this podcast reached more people and communicated with them more consistently than the previous model of weekly episode releases over the course of a few months. There's the positives. Now, here's the possible negative. Average 7-day downloads per episode are down between 10 to 20%. That means that each individual mini episode is getting fewer listens over the course of 7 days than a full-sized weekly episode got, which I did in previous seasons. So, in a sense, each episode is getting a little less bang for the buck than previous seasons. However, the sheer volume of episodes makes up for that. Overall, though, talking to 50% more people and supplying them with way more touch points is a good option, in this case at least. Oh, a few other things I learned in looking at the numbers. Downloads definitely dropped over weekends and holidays, and especially holiday weekends. And there seemed to be a little fatigue setting in. Now, that could also have been a result of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend rattling some download numbers, but it seemed like we hit a high point in download numbers during the early part of the week of November 13th, and then dropped a bit by week's end, and then stayed there through the holiday week and the last week of November. Again, that could be the holiday to blame that just kind of set everything off. And also, I don't have all the numbers for the end of November yet. Now, all this does not mean that I'm going to jump into posting daily for months at a time. I don't think I could sustain that for one, but also I think listener fatigue would really settle in. I just feel like it's not something that I would really want to engage with all the time. Overall, NaPodPoMo was kind of like a blast of seminary for me. It was a bit intense. It was good. I learned a lot. Parts of it were fun. I'm glad I did it. I'm probably not going to do it again real soon. Outside of the numbers, the process was really informative, though. It really sharpened my chops on episode scripting since I had to churn out so many episodes so quickly. I learned how to make editing super easy. Hint, leave a long pause after your flubs. I also really started to feel comfortable right here behind the microphone. Some of the stage fright subsisted a bit, and I think the frequency is largely helpful for that. I know I didn't feel like I had to be super awesome each time and every time because I was just going to get back on the mic again tomorrow or even a little bit later that day. So what's next after all this? Well, I'm going to ramp up for the next season of pastoring in the Digital Parish. I'm wondering if there are ways to combine some of the ideas from NaPodPoMo with what we were doing here before. I think the hyper-focus on a very succinct topic is useful in this realm of ministry. Like, we tune into this podcast because we're looking for practical tips. But also, I personally enjoy hearing people's digital ministry stories, and I feel like there's benefit there too. So maybe there's a marrying of the two. In any case, that next season will begin towards the end of January of 2024. Look for it then. Thanks so much for taking this little journey with me. National Podcast Post Month is over, but we can still talk. Hit me up on email at digitalparish@umcom.org or navigate your way into our Facebook group. It's called, get this, Pastoring in the Digital Parish. You got it. Pastoring in the Digital Parish is brought to you by Resource UMC, the online destination for leaders throughout the United Methodist Church. Visit often to find ideas and information to inspire United Methodist leaders throughout the connection. Have a great Advent and holiday season. Peace.